Yo, lots of love and creepy videos from this side of Africa. Yeah, with some poor English. Thanks for clicking. Kindly watch till the end. Let's dive in.
اللهم صل صلاة كاملا وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقضى به الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه من كل لمحة ونفس بيد كل معلوم لك الله كفاك ربك كم يكفيك واقبة كفاك كم كان من كركن يكون كرم كفل كيف في كركن يكيم شك كل كل كفاك ما بك كم يكفيك كرب تقوى كم كان يكفيك ورا ciki take ce gano wannan abin kamar dodon koɗi ne ko?
Wannan dodon koɗi ne.
Inna lillahi
Inna ilaihi raji'un.
la hawla wala quwwata illa billah.
Dodon koɗi a jikina.
Wallahi dodon koɗi.
Ikon Allah kenan. Hai, malam. Lalle na haɗu da shirin mutane. Na haɗu da shirin mutum malam.
Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil.
To wannan fa.
To ga shi dai dodon koɗi aka hurga mai a jiki. Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. La hawla wala quwwata. La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ga shi dodon koɗi.
Dodon koɗi.
Kot.
What the hell? What was that, man? Is that guy which doctor? Which doctor is that, man? What was that he just removed from a person's belly using an egg? Is that even real or some con game there? Yo, this is crazy. But I'd like to know if you know about this stuff, man. I've never heard of that shit.
The fascinating answer was the guy saying that it's not in the public good for this to get out. Because the big speculation, there's a bunch of big speculations, but the big one has always been that we were genetically engineered. I mean, that's something that Zecharia Sitchin talked about. And
So speculating right now, just speculating, because it's driving me crazy. What do you think, if this is true, we're just saying if this is true, if we're being visited by something,
yeah.
what could be so powerfully devastating that these keepers of the secrets have literally, all of them, pretty much stopped at the same place and talking with me and George, which is like, I am not for disclosure on this. There's something they're not telling us that is so heavy.
But it also could be the genetic engineering thing, because there's a weird thing with human beings and lower primates. The lower primates are all still around, you know, and there was a bunch of different kinds of humans that didn't make it, you know, Neanderthal and Denisovan, and there's a bunch of other ones that they keep discovering new ones. But, God, there's a giant leap between us and the other primates, a weird one. Real weird. We vary so wildly in terms of how we look. We vary so wildly in the environments that we can live in. We have hyper intelligence in comparison to everything else that's on the planet, like giant leaps above in terms of our ability to manipulate our environment. We're not like anything else. Now, if we start seeing them, you know, if they're like hovering over Los Angeles and they're undescribable and they rocket off into insane speeds and smaller crafts come out of the mothership, and if that kind of shit happens, that would get real weird. That would get real weird real quick, and that could lead to chaos. That could absolutely lead to chaos. And if we somehow or another had proof that, you know, maybe we are some sort of a science project or some product of genetic engineering, or maybe the human farm thing is real, that they literally created us to try to get us to do things here, or to try to recreate souls, which is like a very bizarre thought, that the soul is a thing that we carry around, and that there's some sort of value to having so many souls.
This is my gateway drug into UFOs was John Lear. And first time I sit down with him, he's like got this big cigar and he's looking at me and he's like, we're all property. We're property. I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about? And he was talking about how the aliens saw us as kind of like a wine, and our bodies are containers, and our souls are being matured as like a commodity.
Matured, like, is a soul of an intelligent person more valuable than the soul of a dummy? What does that mean in terms of like aging our souls, maturing our souls?
Maybe through experience, like hardship experience, love, joy, like maybe.
Wow.
I'm just talking crazy right now, but this is I can do the John Lear. John would say every experience you have in life is what makes your soul mature. From your joy and your love to your hate and your anger, live without envy, hate, or greed. That's my John Lear impression. Yeah, he was
it makes sense. If your soul is ultimately a representation of who you are and how you stand in life, it would make sense that would be fortified by your life experiences, and it would make it stronger, like everything else. Like your life experiences make you wiser. If the soul's a real thing, the more value you put into the world, the better you behave, the nicer you are, the more you learn to be honest and truthful, all the different things that we hold up as high qualities for human beings, it would make sense that would like enrich your soul. That's it's a fascinating idea, but what's terrifying is that if we're a commodity, then we're like beef cows that are eating all the grass that we want because it's valuable for them to get fat. That the chaos on this planet is actually engineered to ensure more rich souls.
You guys should talk about that.
Yeah,
he likes.
I know some people that have been pretty far up the food chain that believe that there is mass manipulation of human affairs on a global scale for reasons that we can't understand.
And mass manipulation by humans or non-humans?
Non-humans, manipulating humans by non-humans to do things that they want us to do. There are some
what
theories,
kind of things specifically?
War, for example.
Really?
There's what's it called? The Gods of Eden. A guy named William Bramley, an attorney, sets out to write a book about the causes of war. And everywhere he goes, throughout human history, he finds evidence of some kind of a exterior manipulation of human affairs, that they somehow benefit from us killing each other on a massive scale. William Bramley, Gods of Eden.
And what is the speculation? Like, what could it be that they would how would they benefit? Does he say?
Maybe it's souls. Maybe releasing souls so that they can recycle them. I don't know. It's been 25 years since I read that book, but it's worth a read.
Yo, are we really a genetically engineered commodity or an agricultural product? Like these aliens beings that we don't know have put us in this world as test subjects or something like that. Yo, I'd like to know your thoughts about this video for real, because if that's so, then that's crazy, man, and it explains a lot of stuff around us or that's happening. Yo, I'd like to know what you think about this, but this is something definitely to think about.
And this is an interesting thing. One of the brainchilds of Freemasonry is communism. And communism, and we know that Freemasonry is diabolic from the top to the bottom. In fact, one demon even admitted to me that the name of every single level of Freemasonry is named after a particular demon. We also know at the very top levels it's actually Luciferian. It's not satanic. Satanic, it means that you actually worship Satan, but it's Luciferian, which means you become your own god. So we know that at the top it's Luciferian. But in the communism, one of the triumphs of communism, one of the ways that communism has spread its errors, as Our Lady said at Fatima, is that everybody thinks that the most important thing in an election is the economy. No, it's not. The most important thing in any election is the spiritual and moral welfare of the citizenry. That's the most important thing.
A lot of videos about Freemasonry that
Yeah, bras and Futurazil. Yo, yeah, bras. Yo, yeah, bras. Yo, yeah. Yeah, bras. Yeah, bras. Yeah, yeah, bras. Ayin, yeah, bras.
Yeah.
That's not chatting.
I get to go.
So what was happening in that video, man? Is it the sun separating or what's happening? Share. Yeah, I'd like to know what you think about that video, man. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Yeah. That is a loss. A very, very big loss to the owner of that farm, man. What? If God created us to live with these creatures doing this stuff to us, we have nothing to say.
There's a laser, if you can see that. And I'm going to show you guys some interesting temperatures. This is very fascinating. So I got myself a laser thermometer. And this laser thermometer gives me temperatures of what's going on outside. Now, if this was a heat advisory and everything was very dangerous and we shouldn't go outside, then you would think, you know, the temperature should be kind of off the charts. Well, here's something interesting that I found. So if you guys can see this, let me see if I can show you that right in there. So this right here, I took the laser and I put it into the sun. And it showed me that it's over 1,000 degrees directly in the sun. Now this was interesting. Directly in the sun was over 1,000 degrees. This is at about 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Now, if you go and you move it, and for example, I'll be putting these pictures up on Instagram as well too. But if I move it, if you guys can see that, see how it's only 700 degrees? So if I only move maybe like a little bit off to the right of the sun, off to the left of the sun, it drops 300 degrees. Now here's where it gets really interesting. If I move it about a couple feet below the aura of the sun, it's 160 degrees. So right now, if it's 100 degrees here in Phoenix, Arizona, then 160 degrees just on the outside part of the sun, when the sun is supposed to be like 10 million degrees that they've told us, and also, 10 million miles away. So that part didn't make any sense. Now, what was interesting is I looked at some of the clouds, and here's a little picture of the cloud, and here's the thermometer of the cloud, and the cloud was at 62 degrees, which I thought was really interesting. So if the sun was heating everything and creating this heat dome and all of that whole entire situation, then the clouds, you would think, would be a lot hotter. It's kind of interesting. Then we go to when we sun gaze. Now this is really interesting. You are turning red. It's a little toasty. It's okay. But anyway, so when we look at the situation with the sun at sun gazing time, we start to see that it's only 380 degrees. So this is getting really, really strange that it's only 380 degrees while sun gazing. Now, what's interesting too is, so there was one more on here, and I think I lost it. But what was the weirdest part was when you got the temperature from sun gazing, when the sun is just about a little bit over, for example, the mountain, or only a little bit left, it's only 90 degrees. So think about that. It's only 90 degrees. The sun is only 90 degrees at, say, 7:01 p.m. How does that make any sense? Now, what's interesting is we start thinking about how when the sun comes up, and this is what I started testing. I went out at about 5, 6 a.m. when the sun comes up. The sun is about, on this laser reader, the sun is about 90 degrees as it comes up. Then as it comes up a little bit higher, then it gets to 300 degrees. Then as it gets up to 12 noon, it gets over 1,000 degrees. And then as it gets past 12 noon, it actually starts to drop again. And then at about 6 p.m., when we start to do our sun gazing, or at sunrise, it's a very low temperature. But what's interesting is that's when I'm picking up on my laser.
Crazy.
Do you know why Sam Altman carries this blue backpack everywhere he goes? If you're not familiar, Sam Altman is the CEO of OpenAI, the artificial intelligence research lab behind ChatGPT and GPT-4, the most advanced artificial intelligence that we've ever seen. Now, the reason that AI is so smart is because it's constantly being trained on new information, how to learn, how to respond, how to process information, the list goes on. We keep feeding it more and more data in the hopes that it continues to get smarter so it can solve all of our problems faster and more efficiently. The problem here is that we're working in uncharted territories, and we don't really know the potential consequences of what training a computer on all of this data might do, which is why you hear people talk about the AI singularity, a theoretical event where artificial intelligence surpasses human intelligence and takes over the world, which apparently is also a concern for the leaders of OpenAI, which is why Sam Altman carries the nuclear backpack, which he can use to remotely detonate data centers if GPT goes rogue.
That's crazy. Yo, where is this place? What's happening? The wildfires? Yo, man, is this a forest or what's this place? Is this a segment of Maui or what's happening here? Is this another place in the world? Yo, if you have any idea, you can comment in the comment section. What's causing these fires, man? Yo, or the damage that will happen to the ecosystem or the environment around us when these fires occur. Yo, to the air, man, to the trees, the living organisms around, that's just crazy. Yo, these fires really cause damage to the world, man. If it's true they are being controlled allegedly or whatever, it may be really crazy because this is some people may be messing with our world, man, the world we live in. Yo, what's that? Is that like a swarm of bees or what's that, man? Crazy shit.
YouTube golden play button.
So guys, please like this videos. Let's reach it 1,000 likes and more. Also help us to attain that golden play button so we can try and find out if that's really true or just, it might be a fake, but with your help we can find out. Keep watching, watch till the end for some mind-blowing videos, man.
Come here, guy. Buddy.
Well, the good news is Pip is a very happy and healthy and sociable cat and can make friends with just about anyone. The bad news is just about anyone does include anomalous entities and demons.
Oh my god. Is this a ghost? Where did it come from? Whoa! Where do you guys get this outfit?